Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
I try to do my. Well, we're here. We're live. Taking it on YouTube now. I try to use my usual screen. It didn't work for some reason because I guess it's because it's for Twitch. It doesn't work with YouTube. So we're just gonna go straight to live instead of having a starting soon screen.
Ooh,
Is-
can we introduce ourselves?
I don't know if it'd be more helpful, but I'm willing to give up that extra hour to sleep so we can get more gameplay in.
We have another game after, though.
Never mind that.
And are you talking? Is that a permanent weekly thing?
No, just at least this week.
Oh, okay. Then no, don't worry about this week.
Okay.
But yeah, so here we are live YouTube. This is a continuation of our campaign.
Hi, YouTube.
Hello, YouTube.
My name is Shayla. I'm playing the role of Coil. I am a Soki Technomancer. And I'll let everyone else introduce themselves.
I'm Heavy Arms. I'm playing as Syra, the operative android.
I'm Prinny Hero Dude, also known as Pwinny. I'm playing Hosalon the Solarian.
I'm Sevink playing Hani Bowani, the what is it, a monkey race? Whatever the name is. But right now I'm a Theban, an anime character.
He's not kidding. He's functionally an anime character.
Sexy anime character, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm a waifu, so sure. Probably.
I'm Chris, also known as Teaster, also known as Basil. I'm the DM, and I'm everything else. I'm every helpful NPC, every terrible creature, and everything else besides. Wheel and woe.
What?
You know, wheel and woe, good and bad.
All right. Well, so do you want to get a breakdown of what happened last week?
Mm-hmm. This is a part of the a continuation of Rise of the Denda Empire. This is a campaign that we ran a while ago as evil characters, now to good characters instead. After a slight hiccup, the group has been adventuring around. They started out captured by the current regime of the Glorious Eternal, which is a Draco Lich and his larger consort of all these different undead liches, mostly known as bone priests. They essentially controlled first 2 planets, then 3, and then after the events of our last campaign, took over the entire Galarian system. Our group got captured, put onto Akaton, which is basically Mars mixed with a bit of Mad Max. After that, they were able to finally get a ship Starworthy and left the planet. And it is after that they kind of had more choice. They went to Adari to contact people that Coil know, part of the slight and small resistance that doesn't want to deal with the Glorious Eternal. And because of all of the sudden happenings on Akaton, they essentially had a bit of leeway in order to act. They threw a large constructed sort of temple out of Adari called the Black Ziggurat. The Ziggurat floated into space, did not disassemble into disparate parts. Instead, it continued to stay as one giant whole and then floated away and in a actually purposeful direction after that. Now that they realize that they're being attacked on multiple fronts, both Akaton and Adari, the people of Adari need weapons, so they're going out to a old abandoned site called a satellite center called Site 43, and have been going through finding mimics, creatures, a undead known as a possessor, and have just been working through the area, slowly getting it, slowly fixing up the entire place as they've been going along, but also just cleaning out any remnants worth of note. And since this was a satellite for arms development and healing development, they've come across a lot of interesting things. The most interesting, in my opinion, are intelligent mimic pets, including one that is affectionately called George that mostly knows how to be a dog. And I am George Wolf. He doesn't understand tone. He's kind of tone deaf. He hasn't fully gotten that part of being a dog, but I'm sure via training he'll get it. I'm sure he'll get it. They fought a large tortured Lamia-like thing, which used to be an angel, sent by one of the people that had initially attacked and destroyed this satellite. It just sat in a corner basically waiting for its moment and has been sitting for 24 years, so it had its stats decreased and its CR decreased thereby. And after defeating that and plundering through the storage, finding other weapons, credits, and
Bless you.
Sorry about that. And other product prototypes.
Is that a
They
lung
were
on your
able-
keyboard?
Hmm?
Is that a lung on your keyboard?
No, that was a yawn, though. It was terribly rude sneezing into yawning. But they have just plundered these back rooms of all useful materials, and there's only one place left to really look right now. So it is Hosalon,
Oh, right. We have to go to the
Pedro,
office still.
Coil, Syra, the front offices / captain's office.
Mm.
Bloody side quests.
Yeah.
Like using it. Go. This is the last room that has not been searched. Everywhere else has been searched. They have gone through a bar, an infirmary, a garage, a R&D department. Where they landed, there's a ruin. There's just a hole in one wall that has been sealed up. That used to be an orphanage. And they've just finished with sales and storage. Only thing left is the captain's offices, which I assume you all enter now. Unless you wanted to rest, regain any points, etc.
We'll do the 10-minute rest.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That is not what I meant to click on.
Then our group of 6.
I'm not used to
enters
using this.
Captain's quarters.
However,
One part of it is you enter into an area full of offices. These spaces actually have doors in them. I couldn't find a door that really satisfied me, so I just am leaving them currently open. Amongst the different areas, there are placards upon each wall. One further on, there's a central meeting area that looks like this would be where larger transactions are to be made. And then finally, there is within each corner over here and here places for prayer and respite. One is to Abaddon, one is to Pharasma. Abadar.
Durka,
Okay.
Durka.
Abadar.
This is like the old G's.
Mahaka Shalom.
So we do a perception check just to keep an eye out if anything, unusual is here.
Yes.
And obviously an emotion check, an emotion sense.
Give me just one moment. That's
There we go.
60 feet out, correct?
Yes.
As usual, my perception checks are less than stellar,
Oops, sorry. Let me just...
which is kind of funny because that's pretty in character.
Here.
My character's pretty.
There. Now you can feel, more special.
Now you
My
can feel
perception
better.
checks are historically horrid.
That one. God,
Even when I
gotta love,
pulled for a perception, I'm just like, are you serious?
gotta love Starfinder. Oh, I'll have to find that later. Alright.
Get me something to hit, and then my rolls change.
Yeah.
Give me skill checks, I'll just fail them all day.
I mean, to be fair, that's generally where we need you, is to go and do some big damage.
Right.
I do one thing, and I do it very well.
Syra and Hani Bwani, you see upon the tables here, there is dossiers and folders with the gravity reasserted and not having everything floating. You can some of the objects have just sort of fallen to the floor.
So no hints that there might be mimics, at least in our immediate proximity.
No. With the 27 and I guess no, the emotional component won't help. But Honey, you can sense that something's odd.
What are these structures?
Colored paned walls. As you approach one, it
we see
lights
through
up.
Clearly,
Yeah,
this is
as
the
you-
gaming office. They got LEDs.
As
Yep.
you
Yeah.
approach, you joke about that, but as you approach, they actually do light up, and a sort of diagnostic readout starts opening up if you bring a hand close to it. So you think these are each one's like a interactive screen.
Well, it's caught my attention. I'm going to start poking around at it and see what I can learn.
That's some Stark Tower shit right there.
As you start poking, you start. Are you just like randomly tapping, or are you trying to do something specific?
Trying to find what the purpose of this is, or what information, like anything interesting.
Its purposes as an interactive layout. It allows for customers and others to go through certain files that mayhaps other portions of the ship just do not have. If you just start tapping randomly, a voice will surely begin essentially throwing a sales pitch to you with different weapons to click, and then we find that the most the greatest way to produce stealth equipment, click. The orphans can be trained and are usable as foot soldiers. Click, and you're just bump, 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 bump.
Wait, orphans, foot soldiers?
Orphans are usable as foot soldiers is one of the pitches, but Coil just continues to poke, 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 poke. Essentially, imagine you've started clicking through TV channels. If you click enough, you can get to whichever pitch/sales pitch you want.
I mean, if there's no actual relevant information that I can utilize here, I lose interest really quickly.
Yep, it's just a bunch of different sales pitches to you. The technology is interesting, but it's fairly common for areas like this. Honestly, you're like, yeah, this is if you've been to Abadar Court before, these walls don't surprise you. They're fairly standard to a business office like this. They really are. They really are. They're essentially just large tablet walls or tab walls. On the different tables are dossiers with like progress of these different projects and different things that are to be sold.
Mhm.
Project House Chest, which is the mimic, the taming of mimics and making them into viable pets. Project
Yeah.
Eloquence, which is a sort of implant that you can get that allows you to learn a language and have a heightened diplomacy within that language. As essentially, it essentially gives you.
Heck.
I was saying Project
Well, we're hearing you
Eloquence.
at least.
Okay. I was just saying
Okay,
Project
yeah, streams.
Eloquence is.
Project Eloquence.
Yeah, I was just saying Project Eloquence is essentially like a babble fish that also gives you
Coughing.
like a credible accent. That's basically what it is.
So, what? How is it administered? Is it like a pill?
Project Eloquence is a one-time pill that becomes a new organ that nestles within the neck. It essentially is something that like strengthens your vocal cords and gives you a new language depending on what iteration you find. It says they currently only have 3 in progress. They have Common, of course. They have Goblin, and they have one for Drow, the Drow language, as that one is something that apparently was requested an awful lot.
Interesting.
Doesn't seem like there's
This,
much to offer
this
of
would-
interest to my character here, though.
Not on that one. There's Project G, Project Elusive 12.
These said
This
those are
is
in
just-
progress, but not finished.
Yeah, Project Elusive 12 essentially is like invisibility for your ship, but you don't have the magic sand, which is literally sand with like arcane properties already put into it. And you can find that back on Akaton if you spend time. Pardon me. There's also other.
But like I said,
let me
this is
tell
just like
you-
information that's in reference to those. It's not the actual research, right?
No, these are essentially imagine like marketing brochures or what. All
Yeah,
of
so
these
like I
are.
said, there's nothing here that's interesting to us. We're looking
But
for
there's
the
nothing-
actual
Is there
stuff.
anything that we haven't already heard of in here?
Let me see. Yes, there is. There's one called Project Nanny and Project Pleasure. You haven't really heard of too much of these. Project Nanny states that, hey, do you need more members, more foot soldiers, more dispensable individuals? Well, do we have the thing for you? And it
Jeez.
says via training that comes from time and a general feeling of loneliness and worthlessness, we turn these poor, disparate youths into the perfect foot soldiers. Have a whole minefield that you want kind of tracked out, but don't have the budget for a minesweeper? Not to worry. Enough of these individuals thrown onto the battlefield will suss all those mines out.
Sounds sus to me.
Yes, they're essentially saying if you have problems, we have enough orphans you can throw at it for a price. Let's see. And Project Pleasure is a pill that is supposed to slowly deaden suffering and help bring forth more pleasurable experiences. It does not state if there's allergens, any of that. This brochure is like rather new, and it just has a lot. It has a lot of business jargon, but not a lot of meat to what's in the pill. What does it actually do to a person? It's just like smiling people and a guy smiling at a male individual smiling at a female individual.
Like, when you say smiling, do you mean like a normal person smiling or like fucking creepy ass Joker smile?
Do you
Yeah.
remember those wonderful commercials for that? Oh gosh, what is that one pill? Where the guy just smiles no matter what's going on around him.
Oh,
Imagine
yeah.
those.
Me and my coworkers used to do that when we were walking around the computer center at the school.
At these different ones, I'll tell you real quickly. There is here head doctor. This is labeled as business office, head security, and this says R&D heads or R&D leadership at this one.
Now, are we gonna find literal heads?
Yep, yep.
Funny you
Surprised
say
me
that.
at
As
this
you
point.
enter, there is a this area has a lot of not paperwork, just tablets set on different tables, and within 3 jars are 3 different heads. One
Called it.
human, one feline in appearance, and one that is sort of odd. It's smooth with a mask on the face.
It's the Futurama potheads.
But yes, there are 3 jars with heads within them, and I believe, yeah, there is a body here, a very rudimentary sort of what's it called? A very rudimentary robotic body, but it's just it's without a head. It just has a smooth plate for a neck.
Some kind of science check here.
Engineering, if you want to learn more about the robots, or life science, if you want to see if any of the heads within the jars are still operational.
I clearly
pretty
have
good
a thing that's more relevant to my interests. Rolled a 34 engineering, but only a 17 life science.
I mean, I have a pretty good guess how it works, but I don't know that my character would have any idea.
All right, let me see if I can find a. Oh, that's cool.
Any context clues in the room?
Let me put the robot down. The 3 heads are in jars are over here. No context. Let me see. Perception checks. For the heads of R&D or the leadership of R&D, gosh, why did I write that pun? For the leadership of R&D, each jar has a different name on the bottom, and each one stands on a plinth. You suspect that these plinths connect to the jars, rotate the material and fluid, preservatives around, and just do maintenance. 2 of them have a red dot next to the names, though. It looks like mayhaps in the attack, vital functions didn't happen, and these ones are just bad. The third one. No, the second one. Second one's yellow. The one that has a more feline-esque head. That one is yellow, and you think that one might be salvageable / you could save that person. If you have a computer skill, you think you could sort of force essentially the chemical liquid equivalent of smelling salts into the jar and sort of force start the head. Coil, as for the robot, it is a incredibly intricate one. It has a lot of sensory portions upon it. It would allow for conceivably a lot of types of creatures that are bipedal to experience life once again, sensation included.
So I'm thinking that those brains plug into this robot.
Actual heads, and yes.
Oh, yeah. And one of those brains apparently is still good?
Correct. The other two are red, and you think mayhaps the fluids didn't rotate enough. Mayhaps the electricity or battery upon one has failed. There's something wrong with the other two. One of them is salvageable.
My 19 wasn't enough, or
We
what?
only had a brain.
No, I'm gonna have to say no, sadly.
Okay.
You fiddle with it, but nothing happens. It doesn't, but it stays yellow.
I mean, I would be hesitant to plug a brain into this robot unless I at least check it over for, weapons.
The exodermis of it can create electrical shocks. So essentially, the weapon's ingrained into its very hands. But
I mean,
but aside from that, nothing else really. It doesn't have armament. It doesn't have.
That's something with a 35 engineering that I could potentially disable without breaking it.
Yeah, an equal attempt might turn it back on, though.
I mean, I'm not that afraid of somebody rolling a 34 engineering check while we're sitting there watching it.
It's just you said it was a brain in a jar or a head?
Heads in jars. There's a human head, one that looks more feline with soft tufted ears, and one that is a smooth head with a mask-like protrusion of.
Which head is the one that looks like it's intact?
The feline one.
Feline, the cat.
Cats always survive.
So many lives, right?
Exactly.
See the logic in this, okay. Does it have any means of communication?
It's currently yellow. It's in stasis, but it needs a jump start or to be attached to the robot, you think?
Pretty much waiting for Coil is the only one who can do all of this, any of this.
Yeah, for our benefit or peril.
I tried and failed, so.
Well, I think it might be worthwhile to attempt it. I mean, we're here looking for information. That's a brain, and I mean, there's a brain in that head anyway, so that's information.
Right.
And potentially an ally. Well, that's why I wanted to disable the thing, though, because like I said, it's potentially. That's why I want to disable the weaponry so it can't attack us.
Well, let's get our weapons ready, just in case this blows up in our face.
I can assist. I can attempt to assist of a high computers and
We're looking for an engineering check.
Somebody rolling dice? Is that what I'm hearing?
So I need to.
I'm just rolling a giant chicken for no reason whatsoever. Don't you worry.
And then Cubby and George following us?
I mean, my character from a scientific perspective is just interested in seeing what happens and how this actually comes together and works. If anyone wants to stop me from putting it together, that's on them.
I'm trying to get you to do it.
Yeah, okay, then I'm
also a scholar, so I gotta get that intellectual curiosity thing going.
So it'd be an engineering check to install the head into the robot?
Yes.
And Syra is being stretched out for some reason.
No, first
Man, one of these.
Sorry, that's a misclick.
First, you want to use a science check to fix the head.
What's wrong with the head?
Computers check.
The qubit the environment itself, the vivarium environment, is not correct.
What kind of things?
Wait, is that a computer's check or would that be a life science check?
I said engineering. You're trying to interact. Yeah, because you're trying to interact with machinery.
You said computers to fix the fluid.
Oh, I did?
Yeah,
didn't
that's why
mimic
I
my
rolled.
field
I don't
engineering.
have engineering.
Oh, then hold on. Hold on. Let me look at what is what here. Okay.
Well, Syra has made both rolls to attempt to help.
Well, I think if it's for the fluids, though, I would argue that would be a alchemic science check.
Yeah, but if you're just trying to get the computer to do it for you,
I mean, who says I have to have the computer do it for me?
If you if you really want to, you can totally. There's a hatch in the back. You can essentially sort of pop this open and put what you believe are restoratives into it, and I'll allow you to attempt to essentially skip using the computer and go for a more direct approach.
I mean, I would. I mean, if I could,
chemical analysis.
if I could approach this from the perspective of a chemist, then yes, I would prefer to do that because that is one of my specialties.
Then yes, you can if you so wish. You interact in a different way, but it's doable.
Oh, I don't know why it didn't roll at first, and then I rolled again and it did it twice. Bear in mind that I have the theme knowledge chemistry, which lowers the DC of any chemistry-related checks by 5.
All right. You are able to succeed with that.
Because of my specialization, or?
It's only because of that specialization.
Glad I pointed it out.
But you open this up. You remove enough of the original chemical, add restoratives, and some basic knowledge of chemicals. Close it back up. You try to reverently or politely stir it so that you don't move the head too much from where it's held to the base of this jar. So the fluid moves around, and the eyes actually begin to blink as the powered base of this sort of jar clicks on, detecting A, movement, but B, a difference within the contents. And the small name plaque, the light next to it, turns green.
When you said she was reverently stirring the fluid up gently, just the image of the mask jumping out and just grabbing it and just shaking it like a martini glass.
I was thinking more like, have you ever just took a jar of pickles and then like shook it up to try and get the pickle you want to the top? I was imagining more like that. But I was like, I think Coil would be a little more respectful. But yes, the being inside, the intelligence is awake now.
Can it talk like this, or does it need to be plugged into the robot to have a voice box?
The bottom rim is in itself technology, and next to the name there are like 2 switches and a volume dial. The volume dial is currently set to mute.
I will turn the volume up.
The name on the
Fuck.
Nope, it's worse. The name on the plaque is Philinicus Drip.
Okay.
That kitty's got some drip.
Oh, this is fascinating. It actually is alive.
It blinks and looks at you. The head inside. You think it may be trying to talk and it doesn't move its mouth to attempt this, but it's muted, so nothing doing.
Well, I said I unmute it.
Oh, you said you unmute it? Oh, if you do that, it says, hello and welcome to Site 43. Are you asking about any of the 3 projects that I am involved in? Like, it's immediately like, oh, it's business time. Someone needs me.
Are you
Just like
sentient, or?
Yes, I am Phalenicus Drip, of course, good sir. Ma'am. Being? What is your pronouns?
You can't tell you're a girl.
I mean, to be fair, I'm a totally different species, so maybe he doesn't understand what.
Mayhaps, I'm not gonna lie. Mayhaps Yusoki don't end up in this all too often. In this office all too often.
Said the voice in our heads.
Mhm.
What
Are
projects
you?
are you in charge of?
Ah, the brain. The brain.
You don't say.
I think you got the chemical
I
a little
haven't
bit
yet.
wrong.
It
Blah,
says
blah, 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 blah.
cat.
What project is
Sorry,
that?
cat got my. Sorry, cat got my tongue. Sorry, I
Aha.
apologize. The head inside gives a wry smile. I am in charge of projects Firefly, House Chest, and Project Forbiddens.
Which one was forbidden?
Forbiddens is the memory wiping one that actually just wipes the knowledge completely from existence.
So we liked Firefly out of those three, right?
Firefly and House Chest. You like, well, you don't like all the wild mimics, but the tamed mimics are pretty good. George is one of them.
Yeah, I like George.
Project House Chest and Firefly.
Those
Firefly
fucking
is
fridges,
the
though.
Hmm?
Dem fridges, Joe.
Dem fridges, though.
And
Project
couches.
Firefly is
Ugh.
the positive energy burst that you can
Never look at a couch again.
It's like a project
Same
energy light bulb, essentially, that you can place into a weapon.
Pew pew.
Pew pew, indeed.
It's think more like click click. It like flashes positive energy with the click of a button. It's supposed to use charges, but when it does so, I have rules for it. Anyways.
Oh, that's reassuring.
But he says that those three, he says, Forbiddens, Firefly, House Chest are all my brain children.
Okay.
Projects and products that are brought to my mind and that I am in direct control of usually. I, of course, have the auspice of working with others and sharing in this glory, but they are mainly they would mainly fall under my name and my works.
Well, I hate to break it to you, but you're probably a single parent now.
What? He actually pauses, and the cat it's being held by Coil, so it'll say, "Turn me around. What's happened? Where are the others? Someone's usually on the robot at this point. It's during work hours, is it not?"
I think everybody had their severance.
Oh, jeez.
Do you acquiesce to his demand to turn him around to the other jars, though?
He might lose his mind.
How bad is the other two jars?
The human like there's not a lot there's not a lot difference. The fluid preserved him well. The other one, the fluid has changed colors. The fluid has changed colors, and that head does not look ripe. It looks like it's disgusting.
Like if we opened it, we'd smell the aroma of rotten brains.
You'd smell essentially the scent of pickling.
How long was it since this station last reported anything? Like, how long has it been since the accident that happened that caused this? 20 years?
26 years.
I'm not gonna mince words, but this station hasn't been operational for 26 years. I'm frankly surprised that you're still alive.
Well, Abadar Corp's materials are key, so my compatriots may also be safe. Have you checked on them?
Well, I can show them to you yourself if you like, but at a glance, they didn't hold up very well.
He bites his lip and tries to turn away, but it's impossible since there's no neck muscles. So he essentially bites his lip in the jar and closes his eyes. It's like, turn me away, I cannot look.
Okay,
Never
I'll
prepared
turn.
to see Reginald
I
like
shall
that.
swoon.
I
I'll
will
turn him
swoon.
away.
He needs a fainting pillow.
I need a fainting pillow and a body. Can I be placed
Got a
upon
strange
the
case of
body then?
vapors.
Oh, get him a
Yeah, but do we have like? Is there any like cloth or something we can drape over the other two heads?
One of us could just stand in
Not
the
in
way
this
of it.
room. There are cloths and in other places of the station, but not in this room. It's like a very stark workroom. There's tablets, connections. There's the desk, and there's the plinths that the jars sat on.
This is where the jars are, I take it, right at this table?
Yes, basically.
I'll
Yes.
just stand in front of them.
That'll
I
work.
can't look. Oh my gosh, Reginald was dear. He had such hopes for all those children he was sending out into battlefields. I can't look.
So yeah, I'll try to
Alright.
carefully grab his jar and install it to the robot for him.
There's a click, a whir, and he says, a voice from the robot, not from the jar, states there are currently 7 errors and 6 uplinks that are non-operational. He says, "Oh, the weapon systems are down again. Well, I guess it's not that important. Someone pre-rolled for what features this robot would have operational when it was finally turned on."
Well, that was what all the chicken rolls were for.
Yeah, whatever.
And
He says, "I can still move around and interact with things, but I am sorry. And the hands come up. He tries to wipe the jar. He's like, oh, poor Reginald. He had so many dreams for those orphans. He was gonna put a hand into. He was gonna put a gun into each of their. He was gonna put a gun into each of their hands and set them free. They were going to have a purpose in life again."
What the fuck?
And more life, yeah.
That sounds like somebody else's kinds of plans.
Yeah. Megalomaniac.
Philinicus brushes down his jar. Oh, I can't. Oh, I can't right now.
You can't even.
I can't even right now, but
Maybe we should have
this
just
is
left
most
him alone.
disturbing. I would think that Abadar Corp would have come and taken up this information. Why did they not? Why is anything left here still?
Wait,
Do we have any idea why that is?
It's not been a question anyone has asked.
Well, I guess
Do
it's
I
time
know
to
the
ask
answer?
this question.
Why did we come here? Exactly. I mean, I know what we came here for, but why did we come here?
Because
Yeah, there were rumors. There were rumors, and it was one of the people of Adari said, if there's rumors, there's usually truth to the rumors. So they gave you 2 locations that should have weapons to arm themselves against this.
Right, we're here for
against
weapons.
the threat of the Glorious Eternal sending reprisals to Adari.
Well, I can't speak to Abadar Corps, but this place was shrouded in rumor. Like, we were sent here to find weapons to help defend. What's the station? I can't remember. It's been so long.
The Adari station.
To defend the Adari station against the threat of the undead.
He wipes a imaginary tear off the outside of the jar and says, "Oh, condensation." Anyways, that's Adari are lovely customers of ours. How much has changed in 26 years?
Well, considering I'm how old is my character right now? Hold on, I gotta double check that. I'm pretty sure I had answered that question on my thing. Maybe not. Well, considering I'm apparently 10 years old, because Yosoki are a very short-lived race.
Uh-oh. You've got an expiration date.
Mm-hmm.
Go on.
I can't say what's changed in. I can't say what's changed in that long, but I've only been around for like 10 of them.
Oh my gosh, everyone's living shorter lifespans as well. Okay, Drip. Okay, Drip. Come on, get it together. He's fanning himself, although why you would fan a jar with robotic hands is beyond me.
It's probably just reflex.
You think it might be. But he's
Not
essentially just...
everyone has the lifespan of this person here.
Oh, thank goodness. How old are you? Do you
This
recall
much.
what happened in 26 years? And I would request, if you did live that long ago, I would request what is essentially is it culture? Yeah, culture. If you've lived that many years, essentially you're doing a culture check on Abadar Core.
Trying to do that.
All right, Hani, you actually succeed. Abadar Corp got hit pretty hard when the station when the Starfinder station got taken down. The what is it called? I have notes over here on it, I think.
Yeah, for the
There we
record,
go.
we're not Yosoki aren't that much shorter lived than like humans. Humans maximum age is 100. Yosoki's 80.
Oh, okay. But Absalom Station, since this is like a satellite site for Absalom Station, and Absalom Station got destroyed, Abadar Corp took a huge hit to profit and went to other places to snag up things that they thought were salvageable. At the time that this went down, they probably just deemed this unsalvageable and not worth coming back to. And with the addition of how orphans were being taken and turned into secret soldiers, mayhaps they kind of didn't want this place coming back.
Yeah, just burying it, basically.
Burying it.
Is Abadar Corporation still in business?
It is, but it like tries to operate on the fringes of Galarian now. It tries to operate in a much more low-key fashion.
Was in the last campaign was that I was mostly absent for. Was Abadar a big player?
It was a decent-sized player, actually, as Abadar Corp also had the illustrious Omendron as one of its major, one of the major players to Abadar Corp.
Omendron. Do we know what that is?
Omendron's the
It's a
name of a
character.
person.
It's a character and
Oh,
CEO.
okay.
Do I know who that person is? Probably not. Let's see.
Culture.
That's why I was asking.
I might actually.
You actually do know a bit about Omendron. He's still around. He essentially kind of so you know how adventuring companies will come together, put you in good groups, give you equipment and a start. Most of what Omendron did was that, except for the equipment part. He could do a lot of like very cheap co-op with groups and different people. He could find you a person you could be looking for. They usually would be a little destitute, but they'd be good at what they did. He essentially found you cheap help, and then it was your job to outfit them, protect them, feed them, etc. But he had an eye for highly competent workers and adventurers. And that made him rise in Abadar Corp as a sort of human resources. Although I don't know what you'd call it if there's multiple species. Species resources? Coworker resources? Regardless of whatever it would be called. He was very good at it. What were you going to say, Hani?
It's a species.
Wasn't
Yeah,
the you said the ship was something else. I thought the ship was Adari.
Yeah. The ship is Adari. This is Absalom Station and Site 27 we're talking about.
Yeah, but I thought we're getting weapons for Adari, not Absalom.
Yes, you are. I'm
Right.
talking about Absalom because someone was asking, wait a moment, where's Abadar Corp? And I was like, well, since Absalom Station went down, Abadar Corp hiked it. They're in hiding, basically.
Okay. I don't
Them
know
with
why.
a lot
I
of
thought we
their
were talking about Adari Station. Well, I thought we were talking about the station that I came from, and I'm like, I wouldn't know a damn thing about Absalon Station. I grew up on Adari, and I'm 10 years old.
You might know. Maybe they talked about it. It's in the inner ring. It's totally.
That's my knowledge. Shit, my culture check for Absalon Station right there. A 10. That's how much or little I know about Absalon. Okay.
The 10.
Yeah.
Absalom Station was the home of the Starfinder Society. It's been so far in the past since that's been running, though. Like,
Oh, actually, you know what? I did forget. I do actually have bonuses because I have intelligence. Because culture's intelligence, right?
I
Yep.
believe so.
Yeah, so I should have a +4 on that. But still.
Okay.
14.
So my first one was at 19. So I knew Omidron a little bit better than I thought.
Yeah, like a back of your elbow.
Syra, on the other hand, here with a 29.
Yeah.
I got a good culture. Mostly
Thyra's
about
just
spaceship
so full
stuff.
of culture. You've been holding out on us.
What culture are you trying to recall upon, Syra?
About Omidron.
Omendron is a subsidiary of Abdar Corp. He had a business on the side, though, called Acquisitions Incorporated. Acquisitions Incorporated was essentially a large, a decently sized competitor to Starfinder Society, where the Starfinder Society would pay for finding locations, documenting this for future posterity, being able to mark new threats and threats that have passed within the star systems. Omendron was all about that capital, son. He about that green, that bottom line, that Gouda, that cheddar, that cheese, money, credits,
We get it.
dosh. And because of that,
Bling, bling.
they were very affluent, but sometimes this attracted the attention of less than honorable employees. So there's a sordid history with Acquisitions Incorporated.
So, anyway, should we offer to relocate this person? Help them find a new
Probably.
home.
You think that's
Oh,
wise?
Syra,
what
with
this
that, I
dude-
can also say this. Acquisitions Incorporated hasn't had operating adventurer groups for the past about 20 years, but occasionally people still will flash the livery, the badges, etc.
So
All the workers and employees. No one knows where Omendron is currently.
There's somebody with a little more diplomacy than me. Want to ask him if he'd like to accompany us back to Adari and help, pick up the fight again against the undead.
Well, I was about to click the button, but
I
should I
did kind
just
of roll my
assist?
character for this purpose. Yeah, so that's what I was doing. That's what I was asking about.
Yeah, I
Should
know.
we-
I've been building it too, so
All right.
never hurts to have another talker.
Yeah.
Excellent. You're just trying to get him off of this derelict site onto your ship.
Well,
You're offering him a
specifically
ride?
trying to ask him to join us at Adari and help in the fight again.
He says, "Oh, I'm not an incredible combatant. I
No, not
could
not
help.
not at,
I could
not
go
not
ahead."
as a combatant to help develop weapons and research. And
He says, "I recall Adari had some fantastic forges. They always had that issue with having such a fine balance on their ship, though. If we can grab nearby asteroids, for metal and other materials, I am certain I could help create some weapons of choice, useful things.
Is our ship
Sure, they'd
equipped
be
with a tow cable
very
or a tractor
pleased.
beam?
Huh? Say that again?
Who?
You go, honey.
Yeah, Hani first, and then Hosan.
I'm sure they'd be very happy to have your full knowledge on Project Firefly.
He attempts to blush, but something in the preservative doesn't allow for blushing. So he just looks to the side, doing the hands to his little, I guess, jar sides, not cheeks. And he's like, "Oh, please stop! You're making me blush."
There also could be orphans.
That wasn't
Children to
his
be
thing.
saved? Yes, I didn't do Project Nanny. That was Reginald. He faces away from the jars again.
Boy, you could carry on his legacy.
He says,
I wouldn't encourage it.
He is that part of
Why
your
I'm not
diplomacy
saying
check?
it in character. I'm joking.
Well, it's
Oh,
hard
I
to
was
tell
about
whether
to
you're
say
saying it
he
in
was
character or
like,
not.
"You're right. It's what Reginald would have wanted."
I know how easy it would have been too. Just making a mad scientist right now. Oh God.
Did
We're
you?
supposed to be
So you're
heroes.
not saying that. You're not saying that.
No, I'm not saying that. That would be horrible.
Okay. Keys in the car once again. Damn
Sorry.
it.
I
But
like
yes,
what if scenarios sometimes.
I know I like him too. All right. He'll state, well, there's not much use for me being here. He reaches into the desk itself and withdraws a cred transfer stick, and it makes a happy little blip, and it says, "Hi, I'm Casey, the coin friend. Casey, I will require to pay these gentlemen as they take me to Adari. The usual amount for a trip of that distance is 200 credits. Would you like to accept this?"
Wait, what?
He's trying to pay. If you're going to Adari, he's like, "I'll pay you as well," because he's like, "I'm not going to be able to do much on your ship, so I'd rather just pay and kind of cover living cost and all that." He's being like he's being an honest businessman. He's like, "Okay, you can take me to Adari, I'll work there, but I don't have anything I can do on your ship, so I'm gonna pay you."
Oh, okay.
And he brought out a little cube that's like, "I'm Casey the coin friend. That usually costs 200 credits."
I thought he was trying to get us to pay him to take him to Adari, and I'm like, we could just leave you here.
He's like, "What a strange way to respond to trying to be given money." But he's trying to pay you. He's trying to be honest.
I mean,
I'm going to
sure.
say this much based on what you've heard, aside from Project Forbidden's, and even Project Forbidden's had kind of like that morale gray area. All of his projects were clearly above board. Like, he seems like a pretty good guy.
That's good. Although I don't know that I would know that.
We're not.
Yeah, you didn't
something
get.
horrible.
Be thankful you didn't get Reginald. The orphan user.
Orphan Mancer.
The orphan
Well,
Mancer.
I mean, that's my sense motive to know that. So I mean, take it what you will. I rolled a 17 cents motive to see if I think he's a decent guy.
You think he's fairly trustworthy? You think he understands science, but also that there's this moral line that he probably shouldn't pass? You don't think the other two may have had this, considering what other projects are left on the table?
Yeah. I mean, if based on what we know of these guys, if any of the heads were going to survive, it seems like the right one did.
Yeah, even though Project Forbidden's has like very long-reaching complications with wiping things not just from memory but from existence, the idea of like removing shell shock and PTSD from good people is a heartfelt thing. That's a real attempt at trying to make a better universe and a place for people to like come back to live in the world.
If we ever
take from that what you will, it has much larger complications than that because of wiping things straight out of existence. But hey,
Yeah, if we can ever reestablish the Starfinder, was it Society?
The Starfinder Society, yes.
And then start making reparations, but we still got a lot of obstacles in the way before that begin.
Is there anything else in these offices you think we should be aware of?
If you see any bottles that are full of a black cloudy liquid and have blank marks or blank
Labels?
papers upon them, don't touch those or drink those, please. I respectfully ask that you do not. They are very, very powerful mimetics.
They're very powerful mimics.
Mimetics.
Mimetics.
Something that controls memory, sir. Ma'am.
Oh.
Sir, ma'am, child? You are 10, so I think child's correct?
Excuse me, I'm a fully grown adult, thank you very much.
Teenager. Okay. Well, anyways, teenager. They're very powerful. It messes with a lot of memory. It's extremely dangerous. Handle with care. Mayhaps wrap a rag around it before picking it up.
That bad, huh?
Not always that bad. Some doses, I recall, were stronger than others, but it's not that bad, but it's better to be cautious. You understand, right?
Yes, of course.
You know, I was going to offer to fix up your body, but if you're going to treat me like a child when I'm a fully grown woman, you can go fix it on your own.
Teenager. I said teenager. I'll fix it myself. No worries. I will transfer the credits immediately. Indeed. I don't know who's exactly holding the money purse.
I don't think we've designated anybody.
He'll proffer.
Come
to
on,
the
Coil,
first
this guy's
person.
being rude. Let's go look at something else.
Come on, Coil.
Or not Coil, this guy. I forgot his name.
Cubby.
Cubby.
This is the problem with organics. I tell you, the organic parts are completely fallible.
You're not wrong.
Well, I'll accept the credits and tell him to hang out while we finish.
He says,
searching.
yes, I have a lot of errors with this body to fix. He'll go here because he can't stand to look at Reginald's body or head anymore. It's funny how often that comes up when it's just a head in a jar.
So,
Oh,
are we
Reginald!
just chilling now, or we're looking at shit?
You're going
We're
to
gonna
the
finish
security
search.
offices. Within here, there is a large set and bank of computers, computer screens,
Widescreen TV.
tablet, essentially a widescreen TV. Within both of these rooms, there's this just red ball on a plinth as well.
I noticed that, but you didn't say
singular-
anything about it, so I was just thinking it was decorative.
With a singular steel nail put into the top of it. Let me see.
That's odd.
There is. I'm not done with describing this room. There's also a locker over here with 3 sets of assault rifle and 2 pistols, as well as a pulse captor.
What's that?
Some weapons.
It's the pulse caster's a non-lethal. It's essentially a taser.
Oh, caster. Okay.
Pulse caster.
I thought you said capper, and I was like, what is that?
Pulse cap in your ass.
Pulse cap in your ass.
Pulses for his pleasure.
Hey.
The computer screens, several of them are out. There's a lot of different recorded information here, but aside from that, there isn't too much. I mean, this room's full of stuff, but there aren't bodies. There isn't loose material at all. It's all really neat, even for having gone 0G for a time.
Yeah, everything was nailed down, I guess.
The only thing
Now
with
that
a
you
nail
pointed
is
out the
it's weird
ores,
when
I'm
it
starting to
falls.
grow a little bit concerned about seeing two of them in two different rooms and wondering what the heck they are.
Mysticism?
I tried my best.
Nothing doing with the 13.
How about a
Coil,
24?
there's something
I was
at
about
the
to
back of your
try.
head. As you approach, there's something in the back of your head that tingles. You're like, this is familiar. This is someone's. But it's just out of reach. You're like, nails. Devils do something with nails, but I don't remember what this is.
You'd think that'd be the angels' territory.
Ah!
You would think so, but in Pathfinder verse, the devils use the nails.
Suddenly
I guess that's
Pinhead
the
shows
wins.
up.
We are divine. Oh man, I want to do a pinhead voice. I love Cenobites. I love chitons. I love Cenobites. Wow, what a shock. What a stretch of the imagination.
You know, they've added that line back in Dead by Daylight, or is this like, you called, I came?
Such a good line. Such a good line.
They removed it at one point because people were laughing about it.
It's a good line. It is a little funny, but
I mean, the man, he's honest about, his releases. That we gotta respect that.
So
Yeah.
nothing of interest in here then?
There's recordings if you want to look over prior things or prior information, but nothing too.
I shall check the
I mean,
recordings.
So there's recordings. Maybe there was a recording of the event that happened that caused the station to shut down in the first place. That'd be interesting.
I am also wondering about this.
Indeed.
Oh, that's run. Okay. Yes. There's definitely. Let me see. There's somewhere they're applying different of the projects. You can watch them apply Project Forbiddance to a man who had schizophrenia. There's recordings of children or orphans following the robot that you saw before, but with the human head on it. There's let's see. You have you have 3 weeks between this, the Sunbox, and getting back to Adari. Or 3 cycles, I should say. Sorry, I did rename them into cycles. You have 3 cycles, which are 7-day periods, basically. So you have time if you really want to strip or fix up this little area.
We have another place to go to, right?
Yes, a
You
Sunbox.
got 3 weeks to do both.
Yes.
Well, what's the travel time between the 3 places?
It's a 1 cycle to get to the Sunbox because it's you're just flying straight at the sun, and it's going to be approximately, I think, 1.5 cycles to get
back, right?
Adari. So you have like 5 days free time, 5 to 4 days free time that we're talking here, where you're not traveling.
Like 5 days where we're not traveling, but we don't know how long it's going to take to manage the Sunbox either.
Yes, I assume at this point you have some of the crew going to like the safer areas as well, areas you cleaned out before, and they're taking, they're taking the important things, the ale and such. They're taking apart.
Gotta have the ale.
Yeah, they're taking apart the text lines that you saw before. They're taking that sort of like little factory area and trying to integrate it into the ship. They're taking all the different things from storage. So like your crew's not sitting on their laurels as long as you tell to them, hey, it's safe to go here, or hey, Cubby, go follow with them if there's a threat. Handle it.
Okay.
But for right now, Cubby's with you, and I'm essentially not assuming anything until you say otherwise, because car keys and all.
Right.
We all have like communicators too.
Yeah,
You all do
Yeah,
have
I have one.
walkie-talkies that work within this area, and
walkie-talkies. I have.
essentially,
Just wanted to double check that.
communicators. You have communicators that can reach the entire circumference of this station.
Again, to the ship.
Hmm?
Yeah, 'cause I have
send
a-
to the ship.
Let's see. I have a personal
I mean,
comm unit
We usually don't
specifically.
discuss it. I was just wondering how the ship, like, how far the ship was from the station.
not too far.
It's literally a smartphone reading the communication device. Like it says, like,
Yeah.
it's a comms unit. It gives both audio and text-based format communication, as well as a calculator, flashlight, and several entertainment options, including games and access to any local infosphere. You can upgrade a personal comm unit to function as some other devices, such as full computers or scanners, by spending credits equal to 110% additional device's price.
I bet Coil has a fully fledged team for Raid Shadow Legends.
Huh. No.
Shadow sponsorships.
Coil's been playing Seven Mortal Sins Ecstasy recently.
Okay. There you go. There's the shout out.
And it doesn't matter.
All right.
And Ekazumana.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it'd be a total waste to just like leave a ton of this stuff around.
Yeah, no, anything that could be valuable, I say we take, like whether it's valuable to us or to Adari.
Or even just as salvage.
Everything.
Scrap parts, you know?
Well, yeah, no, I agree.
Beat them all the way to death.
I mean, if your front area, if your cockpit gets just lambasted with laser fire and gunfire at some point, like having extra screens is always useful.
Yeah, like I said, I mean,
Are we about to be attacked?
No.
This is hypothetical, and you are going to, of course, run into more spaceship combat.
Yeah, obviously we're always going to be attacked.
I mean,
Yeah.
you're in an area where
when the
undead are
couches
in
literally
control.
attack us.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
We're not exactly in a peaceful universe.
you're not
Right.
exactly in. Well, what universe after a while it becomes peaceful? There's this
It'll
whole
be
lovely place.
maybe
Yeah.
a basic one.
Yeah, there's this whole lovely place run by the Imperium of Man. Oh, they're terribly racist. Oh dear. Oh,
Considering how
no.
our story's gone so far, I tweeted out specifically, come hang out and chat and enjoy our ever-evolving story of spacefaring horror.
Mm,
I would say most solar systems are peaceful because they don't support life.
yeah.
True.
Yeah, true.
Life makes everything more, fills everything with turmoil, doesn't it?
Yeah, because there's something to actually suffer.
If only we could be more like the Eternal Smile.
Oh, if only. Well, if you learn his lore, you'll be like, I don't know if I want to be like him. Anyways, at this point though, you'll essentially like mark next to the door. You'll spray paint it with an X or your symbol or something in order to say like, hey crew, go through this room as well. That's pretty much what I'm gonna say, because otherwise I have to talk about carry weights and all that. So I'm just gonna say you essentially leave a note for your group to come through on this.
It's like
Is that
check marks
fair?
and X's as to where to go and not go.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right. There is to the north I believe the head head surgeon, and then
HR?
this one just labeled business office.
I guess we should just assume everything's in a jar at this point.
Well, he said head, so I assumed jar.
Jarhead? Yeah.
Yeah, it's up to you.
Yeah, I guess just cross here, check this. Actually, I'm just going to keep going around this way. Just do it in a circle, and then we can end up leaving it the same way. Go to this room first.
Efficiency then.
Well, as
Alright.
you approach, make a will save.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
I like to.
Yeah, go ahead, make a will save.
Well, one of us passed.
Coil, you see an individual smoking a stogie, currently a large, thick cigar wrapped with a sort of umber black color. It
I
looks
don't-
like it's preserved. and it looks foul. As the being smokes it, he just barely opens half-lidded eyes, jowls moving as he speaks. What are you doing here? Hani, you see something different, as does Syra. Hani and Syra instead see a skeletal skeletal devil, a mockery of a human skeleton with horns protruding forward, flesh tight and mummified, and whatever it's smoking is just one of many that has lined up on the desk.
I scream and run away.
You don't see that,
You
Cole.
don't
You
see
just
it.
see a human.
I thought you said I saw a decayed
No,
body or
Hani
something.
and Cyrus
No,
see
no.
the.
Hani and Syra see through the illusion.
You see a
dude
you
just
do not.
chilling.
You just see a dude chilling. He's like, "What are you doing here?"
Coil,
You see Mafia
I am
Boss.
familiar with biology.
What are you doing alive here?
Skeleton normal.
Huh? What are you talking about?
He says, "I'm living it up here. I'm just living it up here right now. There's a lot of living to do around these days, with everything else being dead."
There
Can I
wasn't
have-
oxygen on this ship until about an hour ago.
I'll have to consider that next time I'm smoking. Hani, you see a brand pressed above its heart. The brand is of a holy fire and a demon screaming face. You think that this is an escaped devil of the Hell Knight, which is a large, think like very lawful organization that works for the time being. They have an uncomfortable truce with the Glorious Eternal. This is from the Order of the Pyre, who will singe even demons with flame. And those that they catch that are found breaking their laws and rules are put to the brand and flame, working on engines and forges.
Okay. I'm gonna tap my adjacent teammates and communicate through my telepathy. What I know about this.
It usually about where it's from or the creature itself, because I can tell you about the creature itself. I thought the mysticism, I could give you that as well.
Okay. Anything I would know with the mysticism check. I can roll a culture if you want me to as well.
The mysticism would know the brand is from someone, and they must have used a very powerful magic in order to brand a devil.
But I would know that
Cat's
they're
kind of
allied with
the Hell Knights.
And the Glorious Eternal.
No, not without a culture check. With mysticism, you know that a bone devil is a elaborate huckster and trickster, usually using a lot of illusion magic, tricks and traps. You suspect there are probably like 3 within this room. Allow me to also pull out a bone devil token right now.
What, honey? I know it's weird that he survived without oxygen up here, but to call him a devil, that's pretty rude.
The telepathy also communicates in imagery, so you would I would be showing you a picture.
So Coil, you have, instead of this man, you see the thing with withered, wrapped up things put into stogies, and a small pile of them in a bin that is next to him that are half smoked or all the way smoked to stubs. You think, actually, life science check for what he's smoking. Coil, you think the reason there aren't more mimics, baby mimics, youthful, smaller mimics, is this bone devil's been capturing them, wrapping them in paper, and smoking them alive.
That's horrific.
Maybe why there aren't mimics in this area as well. But you suspect there are grub-like larvae within some of these, some that are probably still alive, that would, in time, turn into mimics.
Can we kill this guy?
You
Sounds
really want to
fun.
pick a fight with this thing?
Seems like the thing to do.
He blows just a. He blows. Hold on, I'll actually roll. He attempts to blow a pentagon, but he instead just blows a smoke circle. And after a time says, "So how can I help you, pretty lads and lasses?" Well, all lasses, actually.
Indeed.
This guy seems skeevy.
That seems a bit judgmental. That's all I gotta say.
Can you tell us about who you are?
Why, yes, I'm Delonificus III. A long line of proud traditionalists and devils and deal makers.
So he just straight up told us he was a devil.
Well, he straight up says he's a devil. He usually likes to use the illusion to just kind of soften the blow, since he knows his appearance isn't that great. He doesn't hide the actual fact he's a devil, he just hides his appearance.
Got it. Okay.
Because he understands his being is very unpalatable.
And what are you doing here?
Enjoying. I'm merely enjoying the sights around these parts. You know, just taking what little gifts and trinkets and pleasures I can get while roaming around and about.
So you're not.
You can roll sense motive on that if that sounded weird.
A little bit.
You're not tied to this station,
I
then?
may have rolled a 7, and that's why it sounded fucking weird. Otherwise, I would have gone with a much more believable lie. Everyone, unsurprisingly, doesn't instantly is like, that was a lie. Because it was. You suspect he's not just in this area. You think he's looking for something. I will also say this. You recall there's a dwarf in the area from a group called the Red Claw looking for something as well.
Is that the dwarf we met earlier?
Yeah, the dwarf you met earlier.
Okay.
He warned you about the bandage being in the ceiling.
Yeah, I'm not the best at reading people, and even I know you're full of shit.
He sighs, and he says, all right. You want me to come clean? I'll come clean. Here's the skinny of it, kid. There's a soul stone around here. I want it. Soul stones aren't in this plane of existence usually. They're usually saved for the Infernum or for Celestia. Capiche?
Do I know what that is?
Why do you want a soul stone?
So a soul stone, Hani, is essentially a condensed form of a soul. They're littered throughout Hell, Avernus, Celestia, but they're supposed to remain in those because if it came to this region, they would just, dissipate, go back to one of the afterlives. The fact that it's remaining that way is curious. If a devil got one, he'd probably use it, tinker with it, try and make it into an engine or a tool. If an angel got it, they would judge the soul within and decide on whether it's worth it to try and bring it out again.
Oh. I thought all the demons just ate the souls.
Demons eat souls. Devils.
He's not a demon.
Devils try to do more with them and will try and make servants or other devils. Chitons would just torture it. Chitons would be like, oh, look, it's a portable torture device. Guess where the orifice this is going in, I'll never tell.
So a devil may want it to make What did you say? Slaves?
Another devil, a slave. It's just if it's just a soul stone, it probably is either a powerful soul, a being, or something of that nature, but it's just dormant.
I'm guessing if he's going out of his way to look for it, it's probably somebody important.
Right. Or somebody powerful.
That would make them important. Yeah.
Well, I'm
says
telling you
all
right now, we've
come-
scoured every inch of this soup station. We didn't find anything like that.
Says it could be out in the open and you wouldn't even know it. I've been looking, poking through other areas.
And how
It
would
may be
we
in the debris
find said
around the
soulstone?
satellite itself, honestly.
Would I know if I could sense an emotion from a soul stone?
Yes, you could.
Hmm. So we
Oh, by the
basically
way,
use you as
behind
our
him,
soulstone detector. If
behind
we're gonna
him,
find it for him.
behind him, behind his desk and behind him is another one of those red plinths with a nail in it.
What's with the thing behind you?
Oh, these? I just have them spotted around in this area. It masks the scent of the soul stone in this area. Since I set it up, I know it's here and I'm having to fly blind for right now, but it means others aren't going to find this juicy catch before me. It's an obfuscation technique, my child. Have you ever worked with rituals?
Halfway?
I mean,
I don't think any of
that
us have.
depends on your characters. That's not something the GM can say. Have
think
any
I'm-
of you worked with a ritual before? Even like a
probably familiar.
practical one where you're just like finding someone and
Sure,
asking
I'm
a spirit to be
familiar with them.
Okay, so Hani, he says, then you understand obfuscation and a bit of invisibility to not visual senses, but to other senses.
You can consider building a mech ritualistic.
He says, yes, I've known people to create devil engines before. It's very hard work.
My culture doesn't use rituals for things we need to hide from people.
More holy sort of factors, or are we talking something for redemptive purposes?
More natural.
Oh,
things.
nature. Nature's not a bad one. I can appreciate nature. Forcing the growth
Yeah.
of trees into house shapes, perhaps? I knew this one group of elves. They were insane. He lights up one of the stogies that wriggles a little before he lights it. These elves, they grew an entire bakery out of a tree. It was hilarious. They made the best damn cookies.
Is he talking about cookies?
Yes, he's talking about elves that grew a house into grew a tree into the shape of a bakery and then cooked inside of it. That may sound familiar to some of us. Kroger.
Yeah, you can keep your nature. I'd rather stick around the space stations.
But
If it's all the same to you.
once my business is put to an end, I find the soul stone, or I understand that it's in a dire enough state that I really can't interact with it, then I'll take down these nails. The red plinths themselves will dissipate, and I will be on my way. If any of these nails are removed, well, we're going to have a lot more than just pretty little me around here, and I don't think we want that.
Calling himself pretty
Why is
when
this
he
soul
knows.
stone so important? Is it somebody we know?
He rolled something else, but he's going to say, I'm going to level with you. It is the soul of the prior head of Abadar Corp, who died within this area, actually, while he was here. His body was atomized by one of the bombs. He was visiting the orphanage at the time, and was probably going to cancel one of the projects, if I'm honest, for being morally reprehensible. I thought it was a pretty cool idea. Armed orphan soldiers go all the way. But He came in, body atomized. His was a soul of much knowledge, including knowledge of the Starstone and several of its inner workings. If I could find that, knowledge like that's worth a pretty penny, whether in hell, in this realm, or Celestia.
So
that
you're
should be-
just in it for a capital venture then.
I honestly, I don't see any worth of eating a soul like that. That would be A, hard to digest, and B, a real waste of such precious knowledge. I was probably going to animate it, put it into a simulacrum of wood, blood, etc., and then after I get enough information, release him to allow him to be tossed to Pharasma, judged, and move on to the next life. With
That's
the 13
my,
and 12,
sense
what's the
motive.
12
Yeah,
for?
sense motive.
Yeah. You trust his motives, as does Hani. He rolled this time, he actually was rolling diplomacy.
Seems reasonable.
It does seem reasonable. The venture and capital of that is pretty good. You don't know who he'd be trading that knowledge with, but you're guessing it's more of a highest bidder than a first come first serve type of deal.
I have a proposal, and my diplomacy check wasn't great, but I have a
He
proposal.
waves and a chair appears in front of the desk and he says, "Sit down and explain your proposal." Care for a cigar?
No, thank you.
It's a beastly habit. Can't believe I picked it up myself. He proceeds to puff and the cigar wiggles a little.
Perhaps we can help you find this soul. But in exchange, we would want to have a no competition bid.
He pauses for a moment, considering that, and he says, he would have other pieces of information. You get a bit of one piece of information from his soul. How's that for a trade? 2? He'll pause. 2. I think I could offer 2 pieces of information from his soul. Yeah, I think 2 is the best deal I could give you, but if you assist, it would mean I wouldn't have to try and keep finding ways around my own obfuscation ritual, which is rather a headache in itself. It's like setting up a fish net and then diving into the ocean in order to try and capture a trout. Your hand's just prying at a net.
That's a check to think if I can figure out a way to like reanimate him from a soul stone.
That is necromancy, but if you had a soul stone, it would essentially act as onyx and the body, the soul component. You would just need a body or simulacrum to put him in.
Okay. Seems
so that could be anything from like a robot, a humanoid, a toothpick carved into the shape of a human, anything of that nature.
It'd be really small.
It could be really small, but if it's that small, then you may have problems along the way.
I would like to have just this person as an ally.
He says, so you would want no contest to own this, the right to where this individual goes before
I'm sure our ally would give you a fair price, but I would want to ensure that it's our ally buying it from you.
He looks at you and he sort of steeples his fingers, puffing on his large larvae-like cigar before he says, I could make an arrangement. Whatever information I take, though, is mine, and you will not have access to it. I will promise, in turn, though, that I will not take information that you find critical. You will tell me the information you find critical herewith, and I will not take that. Do we have a deal?
Do I know what kind of information he would have?
If it's the CEO of Abadar Corp, lots of information, bank accounts, the general practices and projects within the other. I believe I have listed the other 34 site satellites. Other business practices on other planets where Abadar Corp was either firmly set, star employees, stuff like that. The CEO of Abadar Corp holds a lot of info.
Okay. So primarily,
and the workings of the Starstone, which disappeared during the past, disappeared in the past.
He's also looking for that Starstone. We can't just say that's critical, right?
He is, but then he couldn't take that information and essentially delete it from the soul before you get to it. If you mark it as critical, he will hold his promise.
Well, depending on what we ask, he might just say, no deal.
He might just say no deal, but if he finds it palatable, he will make the promise and hold to it.
Okay, so my motive obviously is any information that will help us in the fight against the glorious Eternal One. Stuff like that.
The devil sort of smiles at that and says, everyone wants to get at that guy as of late.
That was an out of character statement, but
Oh, sorry.
I was gonna say I should roll like a culture check to know as much information adjacent to him as possible and
Oh, go
know
ahead.
what's good.
You see that brand upon his chest, know that he was essentially a prisoner to the Order of the Pyre, which is
no,
Hellknight
adjacent
house.
to the person in the Soul Stone.
Oh, adjacent to the person in the Soul Stone. Okay.
We want to know what information we know that we need to keep or need access to.
For all purposes, here's the 3 parts that you think are extremely key. His grasp of the common language, because if the devil just takes his grasp of common, he may not speak other languages. So you think, okay, well, first thing, we're not going to get tricky here. I want him to be able to talk with us.
He needs his speech and his common sense, his everyday knowledge.
Yeah.
So we gotta treat it like a genie in the lamp rule, then, huh? Careful.
If the devil says he'll take one thing beforehand, he may get sneaky, but depending on what you label as like crucial information, he may be like, okay, I'll still get something of worth. But the ones that so this points out some very key things. If you learned where the Starstone went, this could open up to the Starfinder Society opening up again.
Because that was the core of their spaceship, right?
That was the core of their station.
Yeah.
And allowed for quicker travel anywhere. The reason that you're not zipping is because Absalom Station doesn't have that Starstone anymore. If that Starstone's there, heading in the direction of the Starstone, there's some sort of time anomaly where essentially you can always approach that the fastest. If that was brought back, then you could have people moving all over the system towards set points. You could
outmaneuver the hell out of the enemy.
You could outmaneuver the hell out of the enemy. And if it's not just in one area, if it's mobile or in a ship, even bigger. That's even a bigger deal. So the Starstone is a very key information because it's an artifact. The Starstone also, for those of us in the know, was what was required in Pathfinder to become a god. So the Starstone holds a lot of portent within it. So it's a strong artifact. It holds a lot of information, and it proffers challenges. From what I understand, the Starstone is supposed to be intelligent as well, but that's what I understand. And I'll look into that more before you actually get that. But information on the Starstone. If you want to really get this war flowing, that Starstone is a powerful artifact and step in the right direction. Its removal was like taking out the Starfinder Society at the knees.
So it's upgraded from critical to essential.
Yeah, so that's essential information.
Okay.
And then the other one of a note is you could go for the bank account and try and add old Abadar Corp's funds into your own interests, funnel it into Adari, funnel it into the Freedom Fighters. That would be a very hefty start for your organization to start like stepping forward on all fronts.
Adding money into our force doesn't really help us because it doesn't increase our overall resources. It just inflates it.
It does, but if you have enough credits,
I mean, we might be able to influence
yeah.
more like neutral parties with it.
Correct. That's the other thing. There is information on the like projects and the other sites that might be of interest, but then that means I have essentially if you say that, I get to open up and say like, okay, here's some of the other satellite sites of note, and you open up more maps. So essentially, it's the options here are basically artifact, money, his grasp of the common language, of course, and the other satellite sites.
Okay, so we definitely want his language and the artifact.
Okay. Would any information on the current CEO be valuable? Would he know that other guy?
It's possible that he knows who replaced him, and that with the right keywords or passwords, you could get in contact with Abadar Corp as well.
Hmm.
Do we want to do that? That's the thing. Is that
Abadar
more
Corp's
valuable than the bank
amoral
accounts?
company, but they were very lawful, and they stood in stark contrast to the current regime of the Glorious Eternal. I'll be honest.
Okay.
Like they did a lot of things that were sometimes under the table, but then they brought their hand up and they're like, "All right, now we need to help the orphan." And this, for all intents and purposes, the devil did this bone devil did basically say like, "Yeah, I know he was here to stop that." So maybe this guy was also pretty good anyways. That his information just kind of got caught here instead of going on to the next life is actually pretty useful.
I wonder why, actually.
Would you believe me if I said that Vex created a bomb that blew away your body but not your soul?
Is that what killed him?
Do I believe it? Probably with that rule.
Culture. Vex is another murder tuber and is friends with Medi. She's much more older now, much more mature, and Medi has stayed the same age, oddly enough. But Vex's expertise is bombs. And when there's collaboration between Vex and other individuals of this sordid website, it usually is to great aplomb and effect. If Vex worked with, I believe it was it Ilus Morgan or Talon Sewell? Oh no, Petrikov Tombend. If she worked with the right other content creators, shall we say, then it's not with outside the realm of possibility that she could have created supernatural bombs. And Vex and Medi were already two of the individuals that just sort of lambasted and made a problem for this place.
Yeah. All right.
So other individuals being involved isn't too impossible. Maybe you could just go back into their MurderTube channel and check what they did those days.
We could use MurderTube as a recon.
Yeah.
I mean,
they are pretty much just broadcasting their crimes.
Remember to
Yeah.
We
like
should
and
have somebody on our crew dedicated to with somebody with a high fucking will.
remember to
Mental
like and
fortitude.
subscribe, my friend.
Not it.
It would need to be something that's, couldn't be corrupted by the shit that they're seeing. I'm thinking something robotic or android.
I mean,
I'm guessing that person would probably be me. I've got
I
the
mean, my
highest will, and I've got psychology as a profession.
my highest
I meant
save is
somebody other
my.
than us. That way they can 24. Well, maybe not 24, but you get the gist of what I'm trying to say. I think like round
Yeah.
the clock, looking at that shit, giving us information about what the hell's going on with what
Oh,
they're
I don't
doing.
think they're up posting a new video every day.
Oh,
There's
I
a
meant
lot
to
of-
look at their backlog, dude.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of time during travel to do that kind of thing.
Vex
Very well.
is not. Medi currently isn't. Let me see some of the other ones that would be on the site. I have a list. Petrikov Toombend is. Petrikov Toombend is a suave leader of a cult of personality. Usually innocuous enough, but at an order, he's had his quilitus show loyalty by usually murdering their own family members and others close to them.
Sounds like a great guy.
Yeah, he's really great in the beginning, and then he starts being like, do you love others more than me? No, then you need to prove it. Put this knife into Grandma's throat. It's the only way. I know it's hard, but trust me, it's for your own good.
And for
What
my
the hell are we talking about?
We're talking about some of the other individuals you'd find on
some
MurderTube.
other people, yeah, on MurderTube.
I have
Seeing
remember
information about what
yeah.
our enemies are.
Yeah, these are some of the enemies. Don't you remember? Let's
Boss
see.
fights, yo.
So, I assume that if we named all 4 of these pillars, he would probably just decline. So we have to either leave him the stations or the money, probably.
T, just for purposes here. Sorry, I forgot to use our code names.
Oh,
Use a
I'm
code
fine.
name.
Just T's not a code name.
Well, it's not my full real
I
name,
know,
so I don't
but
care.
whatever.
But this is I'm looking through MurderCon right now, and I'm just like,
yeah, I was gonna say that question actually was MurderCon. When's the next one?
Do you actually want to know?
I do.
The next MurderCon is in 8 cycles.
Holy shit, that's not that. Wow. Well, I didn't realize it was gonna be so soon.
Were you hoping to get
try and
tickets?
get tickets?
Oh. I don't
So
know. Let me think about that before I decide to commit to something so insane.
Someone's smiling real big right now because they may have plans for what the next MurderCon has.
Well, I figured, what's the best way to learn about your enemy? Go watch them.
Well, strange as it is, the people attending MurderCon right now are not our primary enemy.
Strange as it is, no, they're just a bunch of abhorrent
super special
people.
surprise guest.
There's just a bunch of abhorrent people there, and the creator of an actual demigod.
I'm sure that one way or another, we will end up involved in at least some activity, whether we are willing or not.
Especially since this guy is drooling or foaming at the mouth at the idea.
We'll probably end up somewhere relevant to it, some way or another.
All right. I was just.
I mean, either we're
curious.
gonna end up there, or something's gonna happen at MurderCon that's gonna affect the rest of this campaign.
Right.
The Bone Devil says, "You know what? I'm feeling in a good mood. 3. I'll 3 things."
So language, artifact, and I would say stations, but if you guys want to vote money, that's fine too.
Tell me what you want, and I get to write these down.
What's with the station choice?
This
Satellites and sites. You're on one of them right now, and there are 35 total, so 34 other possible maps. Some of them are totally not going to be interesting, but you mean like
the schematics?
Schematics, locations, because some of them are actually hidden within asteroids.
Oh,
Places
they're not
like this
public
that could be
knowledge.
scavenged.
Yeah,
they're not
astral
places like
locate,
this that could be
like, you know,
scavenged for knowledge and tools.
I mean, I'd be more for the stations than the money.
Same.
Yeah, I'm leaning on station. I could see that information would be better than just because we'd have to research that shit and we'd have to go waste time trying to figure out where that crap is if we're gonna go investigate them.
So you're leaning towards money.
No, I'm leaning towards station. What the?
Oh,
How'd you get
okay.
money?
You said you're leaning towards station,
Diplomacy.
and then you listed nothing but downsides towards stations.
Honey,
No, I think he
Was
meant
I?
in order to find those things, if we wanted to find them without the information just being given to us, it would be harder.
Oh,
Right.
okay.
Yeah, that's the
I thought
point
it
I
was
was
like,
trying to make.
if we
Thank
pick
you.
stations, it's just going to lead to a bunch of research and time invested that we don't have.
Yeah, exactly. You're making my point for me.
No, I thought you were saying that picking
I
stations
was
would
saying
lead
the
to that.
opposite. I get it. Okay.
all right.
No.
So,
I was. Yeah.
Hani, can I have a diplomacy check and then I'll end it there?
Okay.
She'll assist with this diplomacy.
Good
Honestly,
rules.
like, I was thinking before I rolled it, I'm like, man, I wish we had hero point.
Oh, I was wanting to set up a system for that, but yeah,
We can't even use that system anymore.
not in its current format. I'd
You'd have to
I'd
come
have
up with
to
a brand
ad
new one.
hoc / create it myself.
Well, right, but the one you were planning, we're not even.
Yeah, I know the one
creating
I
it
was
anymore.
planning, but with those with all
You're
three,
basically saying pretty pleased with the cherry on top.
he says,
Yeah,
"I'll
we're alright.
assist. I will assist then in reanimating this member. You need to find the soul stone though, because it's very difficult for me to sense it anywhere in this damn place.
This
And my
member.
protections are making sure that that others aren't coming through, but it's also impeding my own progress heavily.
Would the soul stone have thoughts?
And emotions?
Yeah.
Well, but thoughts.
Yes.
Could I
Thoughts, yes.
sense them with my own mind reading power?
Technically, yes, if you come across it.
So I think without looking at the sheet, I think I've got about a 30-foot range. Not too
All
strong,
right.
but still better than nothing.
All right, then I will have to say yes, and we'll start up there once we come back next week.
Cool.
And I believe I will have more paired then. So I need
hello.
I need 2 more maps in Absalom Station.
60. Okay, that's better than I thought.
2 more
Up to 1 minute, so I have to concentrate to do this. Okay.
Okay, or 2 more maps.
Saving
Site
throw.
40, site 27.
Wait, why does it
Site
have
43.
damage and ranged attack on it?
I didn't
Because
have
it's part of the
to take them
macro
out.
and you didn't take it out.
Oh, okay.
Looking for Soulstone. Okay.
The
I
macro is a
prepared-
generic macro, so it just has all the information that you could possibly need. You have to actually go manually remove stuff that you don't actually want.
Got it. Okay.
Mhm. But I have it I have it written down. I'll prepare that for next time. The Bone Devil says, "Deal then, deal."
Yep.
And then he'll hold out a wriggling cigar and say, "Care for one?" Oh wait, you don't smoke. And he just proceeds to double barrel smoke the 2 cigars at once. I'll celebrate for us both.
Will you attempt another pentagram?
Oh, here, you want... Let me see. He didn't do well at this before. Nope, he doesn't do well at it this time either. He tries to blow a pentagram, but it's in the shape of a heart instead. It's rather cute.
He loves this deal.
He coughs and hacks as he makes a heart and says, like, "Damn it, I need to get better at that trick."
Mm-hmm.
Well, he clearly can't be that bad of a guy if he's, breathing heart smoke hearts.
Yeah.
He's showing us his affection.
Yeah.
In the way that
That's
a
what
devil
that is.
would. But we'll
maybe the devil is in the details.
Tell me about it. But that is where we'll be for right now.
Okay.
And he will acquiesce. He will assist in reanimating it and taking the one piece of information that he wants from it. But none of those 3 that you have listed is critical.
And there
So
might be a
we-
lot of other information that we didn't even talk about that is still there and useful.
Mm-hmm. He can only take one thing after all.
Wait, when you say take, is he literally gonna take the memory from this?
Yeah,
So
he
you're
won't
gonna
remember
take
it.
memory or information from the Soul Stone once
Oh.
you get the chance.
Could he just delete it, all the information from him with the exception of the 3?
Well, he said he's only going to do one. He's only going to delete one.
He's only going to take one. He's not going to delete it. He's
Okay,
going
he's gonna
to
take the one that
information.
he wants the most,
Oh,
right?
but
Yes.
so we'll know it too, but he'll know it.
No, I don't think so.
No, only he will have that information. Essentially,
Okay,
he'll
so he is-
put in
he
a
is
little
taking it.
jar, I don't know, childhood memories, and the guy will give you everything else. But when you ask, like, so what year was your childhood like? He'll cry and go, I don't remember.
Understood.
But it's at that point that it's like he agreed he wouldn't take 3 things, and you listed the 3 things. So that's where it is right now. He won't take his grasp on the common language. He will not take information on the stations, and he will not take information about the Starstone. Which also means he'll be ignorant of those things completely. He has to remain ignorant about those. He can't go poking in and go like, "I'll also secretly take this." No, he
So
doesn't
he
get
won't make
touch
copies
those.
either.
He doesn't make copies. That is essentially like hard part of this deal.
How very Leo of him.
Can I ask him one question?
Yes, before we switch to the next campaign. Yes.
You won't be adding anything artificially, will you?
He says, no, no, no. I find that kind of move very repulsive. I'll not be adding anything to a soul. Goodness gracious. I leave that to the Chitons. Adding something to a soul. Ugh.
Okay.
That's like artistry. It's like trying to instead of make logs into a serviceable house, turning a bunch of logs into a, I don't know, chainsaw art wood bear. Sure, it's pretty, but it's not that useful anymore.
I just wouldn't want to get a hold of this person and then find out that there's somebody totally different.
He smirks and says, why, you were hoping to have a long and healthy relationship with him?
I just want to know what, get who we're expecting.
Says, you're probably expecting a very lucrative businessman with an actual compassionate soul, which is more than can be said for most businessmen. Believe me, I got plenty in the 5th circle that I talk to.
I don't doubt it.
All right, and at that, we'll pause right there.
Okay.
I feel
Alright.
like it's like Reese from Borderlands 3, but Katagawa actually was successful.
Well, and with that, I'll be wrapping up this stream, but stay tuned. We will be starting Pathfinder here in just a few minutes. I'm just going to take a quick break between him so I can reset up the stream for the proper information.
Later, YouTube.
Bye.
Bye, dudes.
Bye.